I'm Rusty Bowers, and this is the hawk throwing area and the activity for the Mountain Man Rendezvous.
And what materials do you need for the station, and how and where can you get them?
Well, you might pan over there. You'll see some easels that have been made out of 2x4s and a support mechanism with a bolt across the top. Very simple. And then you take palm tree cross sections, and if you go a little more to the left, you'll see kind of how the width of them. He has those cut into, Mr. Cook has those cut into 3 to 4 inch sections, and that's a pretty hefty piece. It'll stand up to burden. And then we have these hawks, tomahawk basically. And so this is just a blank cutout out of a single, looks like about 5/16 or 3/16 steel. This wouldn't be my favorite, but this one, little pipe with it's an open pipe ended. Were I to take a little more time on these, I would weld a washer across the top just to keep it from embedding into the palm. So with the washer, it hits and bounces. But if you throw it hard enough, that'll stick in there too. And I guess in battle, the guys didn't really care, because by then they would have been in bad shape. But EVIT, the guys over at EVIT welded this up for me as a service to us, to the Boy Scouts, and they work really well. It's just typical tubing like you would use for electrical tubing. And okay.
Did you need any special vehicles or trailers to get your materials to camp?
You can see a pickup truck. He drove up his pickup and had all that stowed in the back of the pickup. That's about all.
Okay. How many staff members do you need to run this station?
We'll have 2 to 3 people here all the time. We only have 5 stations, so it's not. This doesn't have the lethality, the risk. And so you don't need to have any special safety training per se, but we do talk to kids about playing around with this. When you take your piece, you take it out on the range, you do your exercise, the throwing of the hawk, and have some fun, but you just leave it right there. I mean, you put it right back in the bucket for the next kid to come.
Okay. And did you have to give your staff any training to run the station?
Yeah, we talk about preparation, range commands, because you can't just be walking out there and throwing it. They will enter the range at the same time. They'll be commanded when to throw. When there'll be a ceasefire, they'll walk out and retrieve the hawks. So those are very, they're intuitive, they're important, and we do that prior to their approaching the range. Then we review it on the range, and then they'll have the fun, but they have to obey the rules. And I think there is some training there is some BSA training that's involved in it. But you look at your in the Varsity Scout program manuals should have that information as well.
Okay. You kind of covered what training do you give the boys to participate, didn't you?
Yes.
Do you give out any awards at the station, and how do you know who to award them to, and what do they look like?
It's more just a participation thing, and you base that a lot on their chants and their esprit de corps and the fun things about it. But every range, the guy who's in charge of every range will come up with his own award, and it isn't a specific award, just something he would like to prepare so the kids could say they participated in it.
Cool.
Something very simple.